राधा गोकुलानंद श्री राधे। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान, जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान। जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। 1146। We'll do prayers together. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-unmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raguna Tam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Thank you so much everyone for joining us today. Hare Krishna Mataji. Today we'll look at verse 1146, which is chapter 11 verse 46 from Bhagavad Gita. So let's look at Sanskrit and then maybe we can see what's there in the discussion purport. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichchami tvam drishtam aham tathaiva taneva rupenat chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. I'll say it 2 more times. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichchami tvam drishtam aham tathaiva taneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichchami tvam drishtam aham tathaiva taneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. Hare Krishna. Let's look at translation. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your 4-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hand. I long to see you in that form. So let's read purport quickly. It's a short purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Ramadi Murtisu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. The Lord is eternally situated in hundreds and thousands of forms, and the main forms are those like Ram, Narsimha, Narayan, etc. There are innumerable forms, but Arjun knew that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, assuming his temporary universal form. He is now asking to see the form of Narayan, a spiritual form. This verse establishes without any doubt the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and all other features originate from him. He is not different from his planetary expansions, and he is God in any of his innumerable forms. In all these forms, he is fresh like young man. That is the constant feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who knows Krishna becomes free at once from all contaminations of the material world. Such a hope-giving purport this is. So let's see how we came here. Maybe we can spend maybe 5-10 minutes on Bhagavad Gita itself, and then we will go in this verse. So just so that if there are any new members who are not following the verses. So can I have a show of hands of how many of you have read Bhagavad Gita or are reading Bhagavad Gita? Okay, that's nice. Thank you. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have 18 chapters. And these 18 chapters are divided into 3 parts majorly. So it's easy for our understanding to look at it that way. So the first part, the first 6 chapters, is called as the yoga, the karma yoga, or the yoga of success. The second set of 6 chapters is called Bhakti Yoga, or the yoga of love. And the last 6 chapters, the third part, is called Jnana Yoga, or yoga of wisdom. So this is how it is divided. So some acharyas give example of a sandwich. So in sandwich we have bread and then filling and then bread on top. So the middle 6 chapters is the filling, and there is we are in 11th chapter, which is the middle, which has the Bhakti Yoga, so which is the yoga of love. So it has a lot of nectar, and many wonderful and intelligent speakers try to pull out so much of nectar from all these verses, and Srila Prabhupada has given such a beautiful purport which allows us to understand these very highly topics very easily. So let's see what we can look at it today. So if we look briefly at Bhagavad Gita from an aerial view, we see that Krishna is such a expert public speaker. So what he has done is, in chapter 2, he has given summary of what he wants to talk about in the Bhagavad Gita. So he gives summary first, and then he talks about all the topics which he wants to say, and then at last again in 18th chapter he gives a summary of Bhagavad Gita. So like an expert speaker, he talks what he wants to talk about, then he talks about the topic, and then he again summarizes it for everyone. So so in that ways the Bhagavad Gita can be understood. So chapter 2 and 18 are really summary of the entire content. And then he's also a best teacher, because a teacher understands that some students understand by just listening, some students understand by diagrams, and some students you have to actually show some experiments to them so that they can understand it. So here in this chapter, in chapter 10, which was before this, Krishna was giving more of audio information of who he is. So he gives an examples like he is taste of the water, or in mountains he is Himalaya. So he gives this example. So we understand how to remember him, or how to understand Krishna's splendor. And then at the end of the chapter he says, this is just a spark of all my energies. And then in 11th chapter, he's actually showing his form. So so it starts with Arjuna, because as we understand, Bhagavad Gita is about dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. And Arjuna is asking him various questions, and Krishna is answering giving him all the answers. And in the 9th chapter, we were doing a little bit of revision over yesterday on it. And in 9th chapter, he starts with saying that I'm telling you all this because you are my friend. And one very important quality Krishna says is that I'm telling you this knowledge, I'm giving you this knowledge, which is Raja Vidya, which is a confidential knowledge. But I'm giving you this because you are non-envious. So it is such a beautiful and important quality which we were really dwelling upon, that it's so important to be non-envious, isn't it? That if we want to really understand Krishna and want to go into Bhagavad Gita, then we can't go with a capturing mindset that today I'll read it out and I'll then understand Krishna. And then I can answer everybody's questions. So then I'll be a Bhagavad Gita expert. So we can't go to Bhagavad Gita with that approach. We possibly have to go as a beggar, that I want to receive the knowledge. And possibly when we go with that sort of a mood, then we'll be able to imbibe some things from it, like that. So with that mood, let's try and see how we can go in this. So in 11th chapter, so it starts with Arjuna saying that I want to really listen more about you, understand more about you. Just keep on going on. Don't take any shortcuts. Give me all the information about you. And then Krishna is telling. And then in 11th chapter, he's like, show me your form. Show me your universal form, like your complete Swarup. So that's the first part where he's requesting and he's offering prayers to Krishna to show him his form. And then in the first half part of the chapter itself, Krishna then shows his universal form. And in that universal form, Arjuna is seeing so many hands, so many faces, so many, we with our intelligence and our imagination, we can't even think on how we can't even visualize what he might be seeing. So he's seeing people dying, he's seeing the Kurukshetra, he's seeing the past, the present, and the future. Everything he is seeing at the same time, and now he's getting overwhelmed, and now he's saying that that's it. Now I don't want to watch it anymore. Can you go back to your blissful form? And then he offers prayers unto him. So when he sees that form, he sort of feels like grounded, Like sometimes it might happen, maybe, just to give an example, you find your school friend after like maybe decades, and then you see that, oh, he is a very respectable person. Maybe he is a prime minister now, and there are so many people around him, there are servants and they are serving him. Now, the intimacy which you had with him as a school friend automatically disappears, and now for you is like, oh my God, he's a prime minister. My school friend is now a prime minister. And then you like, oh my God, we have played together, but now he's a big person. So similarly, Arjun is now thinking that he's my cousin, and I have spent so much of time with him when we were like children growing up. And I might have spoken something to him like that, in not very in awe and reverence mood. And now he's like offering prayers to Krishna that if I might have said something, so I'm sorry for that. So he's offering those prayers to him. And then he's requesting, at the end of the chapter, he's requesting Krishna, can you please show me your blissful form? So there are so many forms which are blissful. So he's asking him to show his Chaturbhuja, which is this verse, which we spoke, verse 46. So if you see, the second sentence, if you see, your four-armed form. So he's asking him to show his four-armed form to him. And so we can start looking at this. So the way Srila Prabhupada has written this purport is so simple to understand, especially, because when these things which are more esoteric, to understand that what is universal form and how do we understand it, and how did he then came into four-handed form. So this is where the faith starts, and we have to, like catch on with our faith and understand. So the place itself is called Bhaktivedanta. So Srila Prabhupada didn't only give bhakti, but he gave bhakti with Vedanta. And Vedanta is knowledge. So he gave us knowledge and bhakti filled with knowledge. So we understand on how we can decode these verses and how can we go closer to Krishna while understanding Bhagavad Gita. And mainly these middle chapters are all about how blissful and how full of nectar Krishna is. So all his qualities and opulences. So in this verse, we see, and especially in this chapter as well, we see that previously how Krishna was telling him as a friendly person, as a friend and cousin, and he was trying to explain him that you have to continue fighting and you have to do your duty. But later on, when he takes him as his guru, when Arjun becomes his disciple, then he starts giving him some instructions which are more direct and which are more, straightforward. And then Krishna's greatness starts opening up. So you see that Krishna has two aspects to him. There is one which is accessibility. So we see that he is so sweet. He is a cowherd boy and he is in Vrindavan, he is playing. And at the one side we see his greatness, that his universal avatar and his four-handed forms, which is like, oh my God, this is what was happening to Arjun. That when he saw that universal form of his, he was like, he in that moment understood that what I really, really want is Krishna himself. I want him in his blissful form back. So that's why he started praying to him. So Krishna has these two aspects of accessibility, where he is as sweet as nectar, and then he has his greatness as well. He has his opulences. So when we talk, sometimes, when we look at the accessibility of Krishna, and when we talk of his childhood pastimes, we think that, he is, we forget the greatness. And in that forgetfulness of greatness, we might become a bit complacent, and we are like, okay, even if I chant or I don't chant, even if I do my puja today, I do not do my puja today, it is okay, because we start taking him for granted. So that's something which we should avoid, and that's where we as devotees of Lord have to see that how can we balance. How can we have that balance of Krishna's accessibility and his greatness and his, and his greatness together. So when we have a connection with him, we can see that yes, he's accessible. And how is he accessible? He's accessible through his holy name, the way we chant, and he's accessible through his devotees. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada was devotee of Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada has made Krishna available to us so easily. Can we imagine we are sitting here thousands and thousands of miles away from Vrindavan and talking about Krishna? Who would have imagined? And now across the world, anywhere you go, and Krishna katha is going on. But how was it possible? It was only possible because of Srila Prabhupada. So the accessibility of Krishna is through his holy name, through his devotees, and through the Shastra, through the books. And his greatness is through, we understand his powers. He is fully opulent. He has 6 opulences, and through those we understand his greatness. So while we understand that he is accessible and he is my sweet Lord, but we also understand that he is Lord himself, and he is great. So we shouldn't take his, accessibility for granted. At the same time, we should also not take his greatness to be fear. You see that sometimes we become fearful because of certain attachments we might have. And then in the fear, love cannot develop. So when there is, say for example, there is a relationship, and in that relationship, certain person is doing something so that somehow the relationship goes on, because, oh, if this relationship falls apart, then what will happen to me, or how will I operate in my material life? So that relationship is sustaining out of fear and not out of love. So where there is fear, love cannot develop. So that's why when we look at Krishna's greatness, we have to then take shelter of his accessibility as well, and we should not get fearful of that if I don't pray to Krishna, this will happen. If I don't do prayers, that will happen. Or you see this, there are this WhatsApp forwards, send it to 10 people, otherwise 5 years of bad luck, and then you are like so scared, oh, I have to send this, and you send it to 10 more people. So unfortunately, that's not appropriate way of approaching divinity. It is, in a fearful mood like that. So, and then in such mood of fearfulness, there is no room for love actually. So we can't develop that intimacy and love with the divinity if we are in that mood of being fearful. And actually, fear comes from attachment. There is something, in we are behind something. If you really maybe, thank you, Mataji. If you really maybe have a little bit of introspection of why I am doing certain thing, and then you will see that there is a particular attachment. For this attachment, okay, then let me do the prayers, and then if I don't do the prayers, then things will fall apart, and then that attachment is making you do certain things. So the prayers or love shouldn't be dovetailed by such attachments or such fear, because it is not real bhakti. The bhakti is a devotional service. It is done out of love and not out of fear or forceful because of some attachments. Because when the root itself is attachment, the next step of that is frustration, because then attachments, after that expectations, and when expectations are not met, there is frustration like that. So and then when we worship Krishna with that mood of fear because of certain attachments, then what happens is, when we sit in katha and we are listening to some words of his stories, or we are sitting in kirtan, we won't be able to relish it 100%. We won't be able to have that have that mood of enjoyment, because we actually have some other agenda in back of our mind like that. So yes, let us see what else Srila Prabhupada has written in. So sometimes when so here there is a point mentioned about the fear which we mentioned. So Arjun here, when he sees this universal form, he gets scared and he is asking Krishna, can you please come back to your blissful form? It's just like when you're seeing a horror movie, you want to change the channel. It's just like that. He's like, this is I can't take this. And sometimes when so this horror movie which Arjun is seeing is basically in that universal form. When we are in material world, when we are operating, when there is envy, when there is jealousy, when there is a judgmental attitude where we operate in certain relationships, that is the horror movie which we always see. And what Krishna is trying to say over here is that, and Arjun is actually, by giving his example, by being maybe by his actions, giving us a hint that whenever you are in such a situation, you have to switch to Krishna. You have to switch the channel to Krishna. And so as soon as he saw that, oh, this is too much overwhelming and I can't take it, and he switches his channel to Krishna, he's like, please come back to your blissful form. So when we are in the material world and operating and have these our thought processes, judging somebody, or over endeavoring in competition and all these things, that's when we have to understand that this is going more in negative mood, and we have to switch our thought process towards Krishna. So, we come to temple, and we might come maybe every weekend or something. You might have a regulation, or you might be coming daily. And then maybe over the time, maybe I'm just talking about myself, but over the time you see that, oh, now people know me. When you have similar faces, now I am somebody. And then what happens is a little bit pride develops. Then you know how to operate in temple. You know the people who sit at reception, you know the pujari, and they know you. So you have this familiarity. And then you're like, okay. And then what is happening is, this is the point where we have to sit, look at our heart and see what is developing within the heart. Am I watering weeds? Am I, giving, my heart is producing weeds, or is there a creeper of devotional service in my heart? So we can go in a tangent where, oh, you know what, I know everything. I know how to operate here. And, you might just, in your heart feel, oh, I come every day. You might not even say out loud, and you might have that little bit of, little bit of pride coming in slowly in your heart. That I come to temple every single day, or I do puja every single day. So that as well is, you are watering weeds, or you are giving, birth to weeds in your heart. And what we Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai. So what we are really doing is that we are watering weeds, then watering the creeper of devotional service. So when we not only coming to temple, but just giving any example, wherever you might see that when you are operating in the world, what is happening in your heart? Are you giving more water to the pride, the greed, or the anger, or these qualities in your heart? Or you are taking care of maybe love, or humility, or tolerance, or can I do some service somewhere, like that? So which qualities are we increasing? And by this ways we can analyze that, are we coming closer to Krishna, or are we going away from him? So, and these are very subtle. They might not be very clear to us, but they slowly creep in and slowly, starts giving that rise of pride in our heart. And then, why did we started from house at first place? We started to see Krishna. We started to take his darshan. But maybe as soon as you came in temple, somebody was nasty to you, and your all mood is gone now. And you are thinking about, how can that person behave with me like that? But then that is a little thing. That was a small thing. But your intention was to see him. So when you are seeing him, actually you are not taking his darshan, but in back of your mind, you are thinking, oh my God, my ego has got hurt. What do I do? How do I get out of this? So that's where, and then slowly what happens is, when we analyze this situation, that it's my ego which has got hurt, now I have to, but who am I really? I'm nobody. So, and then when you start working on that, no, it's all right, it is my karma, maybe, so just in case, if you were driving somewhere and you have, broken some signal, or maybe over speeding, and you have got a ticket, you have, what do you say, parking ticket, and it comes to you through a post, and a postman is handing it over to you. You might not go and beat the postman because he gave you that ticket. It is our karma. Somewhere on some particular day, we have parked somewhere wrongly, and he is just a postman who has given us that ticket. So he is just delivering that karma to us, which is our own karma. So maybe when we have such experiences that somebody was nasty to us someday, so maybe we can think that, okay, he is just a deliverer, but this is my own thing, and it works both ways. Sometimes some person who is completely, you don't know them, and they are helping you for, they might just end up giving you a help or sort out things for you, and you are like, oh, they were so nice. So it's just like maybe you have done somewhere good and it's just coming back through this person. But unfortunately what happens is that we, just like if I have deposited 10 pounds in this bank, I want the same 10 pounds note back. That wouldn't happen. So if I have deposited 10 pounds from any bank, anywhere, any note comes, it's fine, because I have deposited 10 pounds, I will get 10 pounds back. But in our brain, in terms of karma and relationships, we want that note back. So when we have a loving relationship with one person and they are not behaving as per the expectations, we think that, oh, but I'm investing so much in this relationship, why is it not coming back? It will possibly in some other ways. If we are investing, it might come through to us through some other channels. Maybe not that person, maybe over there is some different calculation and balance going on, but maybe the same thing might come from somewhere else. So like that. So this, what we have to always maybe, as Arjuna is, by his example showing, is that we have to see what's happening in here in the heart, and what transformations are happening. And when we see the pride, or when we see envy or greed, or sometimes even judgmental attitude, we shouldn't get disheartened that, oh God, I'm so lowly, or I have no hope, I'm such a horrible person. Actually, that's why Srila Prabhupada came to West, so that he can spread the mission. And the process is chanting. So just by chanting and just by hearing, what happens is transformation of heart happens, and slowly these weeds get taken out, and this creeper of Bhakti Lata is grown, and then we have to continuously water it. What we have to do is, as soon as we spot that weed, we have to remove it by our listening, by our chanting, and by association of devotees. By talking to them, sometimes maybe by explaining them the scenario, what is happening, maybe that by their help we can get rid of these weeds in our heart. And slowly, by chanting regularly, and by the help and shelter of holy name, the qualities like humility, love and tolerance will get created, and they will replace these envy, jealousy and greed sort of qualities. And when we have it is said that when the heart becomes clean, it becomes as soft as butter. And who likes butter? It's Krishna who likes the butter. And then he steals it. Then he steals our heart, like that. So it's very beautifully explained here. So one of the point is that when we see that there is a spiral of negative qualities going on. Sometimes you see that there is always, too much of expectation, then you have a heartbreak, then frustration. When that is continuously going on, it clearly means that our sadhana is somehow left behind. So we are not focusing on the sadhana part. So while this is happening, while this part is going on, where we have certain expectations, they have not been met, and then we have frustration. While this is going on, what we have to look at, we have to move our focus from there, just like Arjuna said that this is too horrible for me, I can't see this anymore, this universal form, can you please come back to your blissful form again? Yeah, can you please come back to your blissful form again? So, that is the switch which Arjuna is making at that moment. So similarly, when we in our life, we see that, yes, there are these weeds which are growing, and I'm able to identify them, and the, what do you say, the symptom of that is frustration. The symptom of that is, yeah, I just don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to go anywhere. I am better by myself. You know, those sort of feelings. And when you see these symptoms, you know that my sadhana is compromised somewhere. And that is where we can switch that channel from horror movie to Krishna. And though when we switch the channel, sometimes we have problems, sometimes we have Wi-Fi issues, and we don't have that connection. Sometimes we cannot make connection with devotees. Sometimes we are far away somewhere, and we are again, the horror movie starts because that is the default channel in our heart. So we have to take, shelter of holy name at that time. And we have to really, really thank Srila Prabhupada that he came to West and he made this available to us. He made this shelter for us where we can talk about this. We can have this community where we can have these discussions. We can talk about these topics and then work on ourselves. Otherwise, if you go out there in material world, everything, these all things have very little importance, and this is like, you guys are brainwashed. But I think that yes, the brain needs to be washed cleanly, isn't it? Because there are so many, it has become really dirty. So here we also see that in so even so many spiritual masters within our community, as well as all the senior devotees who follow Srila Prabhupada closely, they always give us guidance that take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Because if you see that, okay, somebody tells you that there is this beautiful murti of Krishna, and you should definitely go and take darshan of it. And then you go in the room and there is this darkness, you can't see it at all. And then somebody puts the light on, and then you can see this beautiful lotus feet, and then the calf, and then the navel, waist, the chest, his flute, and his face, his eyes, and then the Mayur Pank, and then you are like, wow, such beautiful Krishna is. But we should not forget that who had put the light on, and that is Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada, who is the spiritual master, he shows us Krishna. He takes us from the darkness, from the ignorance to Krishna. And that's why until and unless we have strong connection with Srila Prabhupada, with our spiritual master, we cannot understand Krishna actually. We can't make that connection with Krishna. Even in material world you would understand. Let's take an example of king. We can't directly access king, can we? We have to go through certain protocol, we have to go through certain channels, isn't it? And king likes it that way. So similarly, Krishna, if we want to approach Krishna, we have to approach his devotees first. And Srila Prabhupada has done something for so many acharyas were waiting for this to happen. What Srila Prabhupada has done is that across all the castes and across all the countries, now people are taking name of Krishna, and that was impossible. If you see, he has made a house in which the entire world can live, which is like an impossible task. So first we have to understand Srila Prabhupada fully. We have to go closer to him. And you would see that when devotees come in the temple, they first go to Srila Prabhupada, bow down before him, and then they go to Krishna, because he is the one who has showed us Krishna. And that's why you would see the way we bow down as well, we keep our left side towards the Prabhupada, because our heart is on left. So we want that love from Krishna, because he has Krishna. He can give us Krishna. If I have something, I can give you. If I don't have anything, what can I give? I can't, isn't it? So he has Krishna, and he can give Krishna to us. So first we have to connect to him, and once we have that connection automatically happens between us and Krishna. So it's very important for us to connect with devotees first, so that we can then see Krishna's magic in our life. So yes, I think that's what I had today to discuss. I think we are dot on time. We'll have the darshan opening in 10 minutes, and then there will be a Gaura Aarti. Um, any suggestions, corrections? Yes, Mataji. Yes, sure. Hmm. Hmm. Of course. Yeah. So I'll just give practical what I because I have a teenager daughter as well. So first is monkey see, monkey do. So they see the parents and then they copy them. So that's the first thing. We can't. So this is what even I did. I was pushing her, but then I saw that if I don't do things, then it wouldn't. She wouldn't do anything about it. So first is that we really, really from our heart have to have that mood towards the spiritual, and then not really a scientific approach towards this. And the second is which is very practical is again that there are so many forums, like there is Pandav Sena, there is Krishna Club, where we can connect them to their age group. So if I take my daughter to a place where the sangha is going on and she can't connect because the philosophy she won't be able to understand. But if I take her to a place where there are other teenagers, then she'll be able to connect with them, she'll make friends, and then she'll not go for Krishna, but she'll go for friends. And then slowly she'll go for Krishna, hopefully. So maybe, does that help? Yeah. Maybe we can connect after the class and I can give you contacts. You can also talk to reception. And on the temple website as well, there are some contacts on the Pandav Sena and things, so you should be able to get that. Krishna, any other suggestion, question? Nice to see you, Prabhu. Yeah. So, Vrishabhanu Prabhu. So, Vrishabhanu Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji have got initiated today. So, it is so nice to see you here. And I was online seeing your initiation. It's amazing that you have taken shelter. Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We'll have the curtains opening soon. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
taking it, we need?
We're just getting another one.
Okay, thank you. We don't have much time, right? We have 5 minutes. Now you're coming, she's going to play. Okay, you let her play now. So you can there. And you need to put that. Find a place, would have, tell him to find a place and sit down. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we are going to have Aarti in 2 minutes. Can you all please stand up, please, and put your mats away? Thank you.
So you okay with that? I will stay. I will
Please, can you put all the marks away, please? Thank you. Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande, Arati Ko Shobha. Jaya Gaura Chande, Arati Ko Shobha. Jiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande, Arati Ko Shobha. Jaya Gaura Chande, Arati Ko Anavitavani Jagamanalobha Anavitavani Anavitavani